Listen, think, act, repeat.
Welcome to the Left-Wing King podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the teachings of Martin Luther King Jr., Trump's courtroom antics, and the immigration issue. I want to thank all of our listeners out there on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, the whole nine. I also want to thank everyone watching this live on Facebook and YouTube. Without your support, we couldn't be any damn thing. Also, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you like this video, all right? Please feel free to post a comment if you want to go ahead and have us share it during the live stream. I'm your head moderator in charge of HMIC, Malik. And I'm joined today by Queen Tina.
What's up?
And King Ace.
Hey, join the conversation for real. Hit us up.
For real. Let's get it cracking. So, American icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is synonymous with civil rights and the 1960s. But Dr. King's fight for equality continues to resonate today as we grapple with issues like racial injustice, economic disparity, and political polarization. So, Tina, Ace, whichever one of y'all want to jump into this one, I'm good. Do we still understand as a people the importance, even like not even as a people, as a country, do we still understand and embrace the importance of Martin Luther King and what he's done?
I think so. And I mean, I think that's just that can go a lot of ways. It depends on how you want to look at it. Like you see some progress and some things that happened since King that I think that we still honor and stuff. You know, I think we talked about it earlier. Like there's a generation that's born that does not realize that there was never a holiday.
Yeah.
You know, so we had to fight for that. Well, and I'll be honest with you, our parents had to kind of fight for that to get that here. And it's here. So I think that sometimes with that, it's kind of taken for granted on how hard it was to get that listed as a holiday. Like Arizona fought that tooth and nail. And I think people don't even realize how Arizona was like not trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So in that case, I think that sometimes it is a little forgotten. And I think there are some things, some messages that he preached that you know, as a Black community, we take for granted now. Take for granted. So
like education.
Yeah, and just you know, and even just sticking together. Like it's kind of like, you know, he got the 1964 Civil Rights Act passed and the 1965 Voting Rights Act passed, and the Black community that was once together, you know, scattered. You know what I'm saying? So strength in numbers. We don't have I don't think we have that community like we had, you know, before that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that his messages kind of got lost a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think our kids realize what he did in terms of integrating Black people into the school system and how that impacted us as a community. And with the way school systems are now with charter schools and this kind of school and schools within schools, that without him, we probably wouldn't have been able to do that today.
Yeah, I feel you. So you brought up a point, man, that kind of hit me and made me think about something. Like, you know, a lot of people never knew a time when there wasn't like a Martin Luther King Day. Like, and I'm not talking about like the federal holiday. I'm just talking about the day. Like, I don't remember a time when there wasn't a Martin Luther King Day. I mean, and I'm 52 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as the federal holiday, that too, right? There's some people that don't even know, well, you know, this is a day off work. It wasn't always a day off work, bro.
Right.
But here's the funny thing about that you made me just think about. Like when you said, like, some people don't understand the importance of the day. I'm from New York, right? And every time we have all of these Jewish holidays in New York, because it's a big Jewish community out there. I took the day off when I got them holidays from school.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell Yom Kippur is about.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell some of these holidays I took off was about, but I had the day off and I was happy to take it because I didn't have to be at school. So I wonder, to your point, like have some people lost the connection to just what that day is about? Like, is it like a celebration of Martin Luther King, the whole nine, everything that he's done? Do we still recognize those things? You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because, like, you know, yeah, the march on Washington that Martin Luther King did, but not everybody damn marches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A million man postal workers. No, ain't just anybody come up with a little thing. They, so it's like dumbing down what he had to do. I don't think people like understand the significance and how big that was, and things that he did. And yeah, he integrated the country. I mean, I think he had to, but I think in a situation like that, Black people lost a little bit when it came to community, because where Black successful people had to live in the same areas pretty much, or kind of in conjunction with people that weren't as successful as they are, that was viewed in the community. They were part of the community. They lifted up that community. When segregation came, all the successful people moved out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so not taking anything away from what's happening or what he's done, but if you're talking about 2024, I think a little bit is lost compared to 1964.
Yep.
You know, when we were all in the same place, where I had the same fight. I mean, you got people now that honestly don't even understand what the Black struggle is. I'm talking about Black people,
Yeah.
and even acknowledge that or even fight for it. You know, just knock on wood. I mean, Tim Scott just endorsed Nikki Haley. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? You endorsed Nikki Haley after Nikki Haley got up there and was like, America's never been a racial country, even though she don't even go by her real name when she's running, because she knows the country's racial and won't vote for her. And she just denounced, like, she just won't say the word slavery, you know. But this is the lady that a Black dude from South Carolina, he's from the South, endorsed. Like, I don't care where you land, Republican, Democrat. Like, dude, you Black first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she just denounced your whole community and you endorsed this president. Now, I mean, what's the option? Trump? You know what I'm saying? But damn, dog, you know what I'm saying?
The other day, he's
So,
on the ticket.
I think that's a sign of we lost something when it came to like Dr. King, because like, you know, you're a politician, a powerful politician, and just straight denouncing your race and playing that colorblind game. What are you talking about?
And these politicians are the ones that are allowing these things to pass, to where, like, for example, Virginia, all of Martin Luther King has been wiped out of their K through 12 history. He's not even mentioned in it.
Wow.
And with the turn of Roe versus Wade, we're going backwards.
Yeah, we are. You know, and I know that's a whole nother conversation. We want to start talking about going backwards, but no, you're definitely right. There's a fight on that. But I'm gonna turn it over, because you and I, we're having a good conversation about how we dress and just the depiction on how we look as Black people compared to Martin Luther King and how he would feel about that. You know what I'm saying? So we're having that conversation, and you know, we had our pros and cons. We kind of went back and forth on it, but you know, just as a people, what do you think? How you think he would feel or look at us now if he was alive right now, and be like, how would he feel about the community now, just overall?
In how we dress,
everything,
act.
I think he would be disappointed in us, not so much with the dressing, but the acting part, all the stuff that he fought for our people. And we've I don't know so much if it's us or the millennials or whoever, they've lost their, for lack of a better word, their Blackness. Like, it's not important anymore to promote us as intelligent, as caring. We're not the big Black people that is very scary, that the police and some other communities made us out to be. So I think he really would be disappointed in us.
You know, I was just thinking, like, you know, yeah, I mean, I think he would be disappointed, but I mean, let me give a shout out to the millennials. I mean, they came out with Black Lives Matter. So I don't think it's where, like, they're disconnected. I think a lot of things happened in between now and then that put them in a situation where they just look at it differently. You know, in the 90s, and help me out with this, Malik, when we're here, like, we were it was big Black pride. And African medallions and kufis and just really going after the culture.
Public enemy.
Yeah. Even our raps and hip hop, native tongue,
Yes.
all of that was talking about the Black culture.
Yep.
And I think the millennials kind of, in the midst, that kind of faded away a little bit. And so they weren't as connected to it as we probably were when we were coming up in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think with, a lot of things that happened, a lot of these police killings and police brutality that came out, and it formed like Black Lives Matter. They started kind of getting back into the culture. But then what happens with Black Lives Matter? They start putting a negative connotation on it.
Exactly.
And it's crazy because the name is Black Lives Matter. Like, we as Black people had to come up with a group that said, hey, we matter.
Yeah.
And they put a negative connotation on it, trying to make them sound like a terrorist group or something. Now, all groups got, extremists in it, and there's some people that probably did some things in the name of Black Lives Matter they shouldn't. But at the end, it's 3 young ladies that came up with a group because of a police brutality case. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. So I wouldn't say they're completely disconnected, but I think that the sting of that day that Martin Luther King stood for, and the day that we get off, it's lost its sting pretty much.
Yeah, I'm taking away a few things from this conversation, and I think they're important to kind of touch on. When you talk about us as the people, and Peter made a point about over time things get distilled, like as it starts to filter, you get less and less. Like it's just like any funnel, you get less stuff coming through it, and it's been almost 60 years since Dr. King was assassinated, right? And we have done some things for us to actually, try to move the movement forward. Like you said, hip hop embraced Blackness, like back in the day. And there's even a documentary that's about to come out about the criminalization or the violence in rap music now, and how it wasn't a decision. And Ice Cube even said this on one of his videos, like, they tell you, hey, why don't you write about this or write about that? You write your raps and it's all about murder and killing and this, that, and the other, because that's what they want to promote, right? Just like you said about Black Lives Matter. It started off as a positive thing, and then they tried to twist it and make Black Lives Matter a negative thing. And that's what they do to us. And I think, if anything, Dr. King might be kind of upset that we're allowing people to skew and change our positive things into negative things, and we don't do anything about it.
Yeah,
I'm tired of hearing like the word woke. All of a sudden, being aware is a bad thing. Having awareness of your situation and what you're going through is bad. That, like, you would tell anybody walking across the street, if I saw you walking across the street, hey girl, stay woke. Look for these motherfucking cars. Be aware.
Yeah.
Right. There's risk out there that you need to be aware of. But I think, if anything, he would be upset at the fact that we're being manipulated.
Yes.
Whereas he had a stance to show, and that was our conversation about clothes the other day, I think kind of ties into this. He had a conversation with people where he wanted to show everyone we could be nonviolent.
Yes, right.
We can be stand-up citizens.
Yeah.
We need to be integrated into these things because we're a part of society and we're worth it. Right. We're good. We bring good things.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas, even though I can see your point, Ace, where you brought up like, hey, you just an angry old man, talk about, hip hop clothes and this, that, and the other. Man, we gonna get some of that.
Yeah.
But I think that Martin Luther King has the capability to make a point about something and make it understood that he's not just complaining to be complaining. There's a means to an end. If he says, hey, let's dress this way, or let's get off these buses, let's not do this. Steve brought up a point that he brought up economic inequality. And like, that was one of his main things. It wasn't just about race. It was about societal.
Yeah, he fought against poverty.
Right. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And how do we as a people become self-sufficient? And like you said, yeah, you know what? We're doing better when it comes to business and stuff like that, but we still ain't on the same footing
at all.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I would go back, and I'm kind of like thinking from this conversation, one of the things that we kind of talked about, what do we think Dr. King would say about our progress, where we are today? Like, if he just came back from the dead and he was like, damn, what would he say? Good, bad, and different?
I think he would have good and bad things to say because we did elect a Black president in that. Unfortunately, since politicians and presidents' wives made a negative connotation to Ice Cube, NWA, Beach Street soundtrack about how our music was rapping about what's happening in their community. It's violent. We were woke back then. We just didn't use that word. But the wife of whatever president made a big old deal about how much violence there was, the cursing. Well, look, that's the life of the hood.
Was that Dan Quayle's wife? Who was that?
One of them,
I think so.
made a big old deal about F the police. You know, I bump that loud all the time. That's my favorite song.
Even when you get pulled over,
I Siri, play F the police while the cop walks up.
Christine in there. Fuck the police.
Why are you calling me by my government name on here?
Beating their head and shit.
But yeah,
struggling to turn it down.
Black people took their community and used an art to rise financially. A lot of them got educations, which nobody talks about that. Yeah. Ice Cube is not a dumb street nigga. Jay-Z's not.
Nope.
Dr. Dre ain't.
Nope.
Ice Cube got a degree, man.
Okay.
Don't get it twisted.
Exactly. But they don't talk about that. They don't acknowledge the fact that the music sells because it's our truth.
Yes.
And it also sells because there is a small community of other races that love the music because they didn't know that that's what our truth was. They didn't know how they contributed to our truth or how their parents or ancestors contributed to it. So I think he would be proud of that progress and the fact that we're getting more into politics and stuff like that. But I think he would be really disappointed in how the nation is right now, as far as separation, as far as, you know, us, we're back almost close to being in slavery time. All of our rights have pretty much been wiped away. We're not equal. People see us as a danger to them. And for what? Because of Donald Trump's dumb behind and his followers.
Yeah, well, it started long before Trump. I mean, it's just.
But he put it out there
and made it okay. He's the tip of the iceberg. You know what I'm saying? But the Republicans, I hate to say, have been kind of some of the Republicans have been working towards that for a long time. You know, it's a lot of politics tied into it. But politicians, man, you know, y'all can stop with the hey, let me get a line from Martin Luther King and quote it when I'm running for office. Like
exactly,
they cool with that. They be pulling Martin Luther King out the hat. Now he'd be disappointed about that. Like, yo, man, like really, like pull back on my words, man, for real. You know, it'd be some crazy people too, man. So, but yeah, I think Martin Luther King would, you know, I think overall with what he was trying to do, I think that he would be disappointed, and I think it is because of the separation of people and the division in the country. I don't think he was definitely going for that. And I think it would probably, if he came back, he'd be like, man, you know, in some parts, we ain't changed from 1964. You know what I'm saying?
And Steve just said he thinks that they would be disappointed he would be disappointed in the fact that we're not united after all that we've been through. As Black people, we're not.
Oh yeah, you know, we definitely as Black people, you know, you know, we talk about white privilege. There's a Black privilege thing too, and it's probably a little more in the community.
Right,
people make X amount of dollars, don't really want to be around Black people. And that's just what it is. And they talk about it as they go to the country club and they go to their house. And I'm not saying you Blacks, you should live in the hood. I'm not saying that at all. No. But we do have some people that actually, when they get to a certain point of life, they separate themselves. And part of it is they are separate. They're separated. Yeah, they're separated. You know, if you get to a certain status, you get to be around certain people. And unfortunately, that gets lighter as you go. You know what I'm saying? Like as you go up, you know, that's just what it is. So, I mean, you know, and I think that, you know, he'd be disappointed with that. And just building of a community. And what I mean by that is like, okay, so and a lot of it comes with we weren't allowed to build community as Black people. And with that being said, like, so since we never built community, I think that once we kind of came to 1964, why weren't the steps taking place to kind of let's start building some communities here, like Harlem. Let's start making like Harlem to the point where it's a self-sustaining, running on its own kind of situation. And Harlem's pretty lucrative like that. But I'm just throwing the name out there with a Black community to where we own hospitals, we own grocery store chains, we own things that now we can venture off and probably even franchise or do over a nation that's really Black owned, like a lot of other ethnic races did in this country, and build economic power within the community.
Yeah,
and I think that's what one of the big misses that he'd be disappointed with now.
Yeah, well, and the fact that we don't, when we become successful, we don't pull up somebody else of our same
crab mentality.
Yes, like white people do. Like if somebody gets up, they gonna pull somebody else up from their community, their family, whatever. We don't do that. We look at it as a competition or to be better than and we shouldn't have that mindset. Black people could be so much further ahead with what Martin Luther King started if we didn't have that mentality of making it a competition between ourselves. We need to be pulling somebody up. We need to be encouraging and promoting and saying, hey, you know what? If you want to get here, this is what I did to get here. We don't do that. We don't share information like that.
Well, I'm okay with competition when it comes to having a competition to click that like button. Who can click it the most times? Okay. Go ahead and click that like button.
And share it too.
Please share this video and subscribe if you want to see more common sense conversations like this on Left-Wing Kingz. Now, that's a great point. I think that Dr. King wanted us to create a community. He was more about integration, though. I think that, and this is going to go contrary to what you guys are saying a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is. He didn't want us to have a community where it's Black folks. He wanted Black folks to be part of everything. Like there should be Black music companies out there. There should be Black owners of banks, Black owners of and white people should be going there too. It shouldn't just be a street in Harlem,
right?
Like Amsterdam Avenue, 125th Street, where you just see Black. No, nigga, there should be Black businesses in Seattle over there by the Starbucks, and everywhere where there are any people that live. Right, that's what he wanted. And unfortunately, this competition thing is I'm sorry to say, but it's part of who we are from, I would think, from even before, like probably from slavery times.
Generation.
Like you had to protect yourself and your family. You didn't want the master sending your ass off. You wanted to do your work. I ain't gonna be the last with the least amount of cotton in my bag.
Right.
Or I'm not gonna let you take my wife and my kids away. So I'm gonna make sure this, that, and the other, and I'm gonna make sure I'm not last place. I'm gonna beat you. I'm not gonna tell you how I'm picking this cotton better than you, because then you gonna pick it better than, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Stupid shit like that. I think unfortunately it's generational, and also it's not helped by the United States kind of like, whole thing around capitalism, around survival of the fittest, shit like that. It all pushes towards that narrative where we kind of fight each other instead of helping each other. And I don't think Dr. King, to my point earlier, would be happy with that at all. He was trying to march, bring people together, like you said, the millennials did with Black Lives Matter. Bringing people together like that is what he was all about. And I think if he were to pop up today and look at where we at, he'd be like, y'all still killing Black folks? Really? Police, y'all still harassing us? Really? Politicians, we still
got the most people in prison.
Yeah, we still got the most people in prison. What?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that he wouldn't say anything good, because damn.
Yeah,
he would not see somebody, all of us living in houses with good jobs and doing the shit that we doing. He would be so proud. But there's shit that he would be crying about.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, and
I went to jail for this.
Yeah.
Like
60 years later, nigga.
Yeah, I went to jail. I went for this bullshit. And we still in jail. We still getting locked up on bullshit. They lock me up on bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But with the diversity and the integration, San Antonio has the largest Martin Luther King march in the nation. And Black people are not even the majority here. So that says a lot about San Antonio as far as accepting and we try. I think we try to integrate. We try to do a good job of demonstrating what he wanted, especially with our march. It was sad that it was canceled this year due to weather.
Well, I mean, all kind of ethnic races benefited from Martin Luther King's fighting stance. Like, and I think that, and we start talking about that going across the board. We start talking about that because LULAC is a real big contributor to the reason why the march is so big here, and that's a big Latino organization that's prominent here in San Antonio. But a lot of times, and this is what they eat me up with about it, like a Nikki Haley or a Ron Swami. A lot of people don't realize before Martin Luther King, it wasn't like if you were Indian American or you were another race, you know, they were leaving you out of discrimination. It wasn't like whites only, but no, if you're Indian American, come on over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So when he came through and got all, you know, the Civil Rights Act and all that passed and the Voting Rights Act, that opened it up for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times, a lot of ethnic races forget about that. Like, it ain't no race to second place. Like, a lot of them think like, well, you know, well, I'm not black, so I'm a step above. Bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't work like that. Discrimination don't work like
all
that.
To be equal, no matter what.
It just don't work like that. And but then you'll hear people campaigning and doing things. You'll be like, huh? As a black person, like, really?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
or a person of color or a different ethnicity.
You know, if there is a side, which it isn't, but you probably need to lean this way. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, because you know, like, I've been in rooms where, you know, somebody's a ethnic race would be, and they making fun of you. Just like when I leave a room, they're making fun of me. You know what I'm saying? So don't think because when you're not in the room and they adding you into those racial jokes, like you made it because you didn't. You know what I'm saying?
I had a member tell me that he was so happy to speak to someone who spoke proper English.
He was talking about you?
He said that to me. That
like third party,
because so many companies contract out to other countries where the labor is cheaper. And
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, thank you.
I've been in that situation. They've been like, an American, like, oh, okay, bro.
Well, I know that Martin Luther King would be, you know, happy about what we're doing. I know that he would also find something that he'd be disappointed in. I know to a certain extent, he would think that we crazy for not having moved the needle as far as we should have probably in these last 60 years. I know we've made progress. I'm not trying to say we haven't, but damn, 60 years, y'all. Come on.
Right.
I mean, since that's all I'm saying. Now, he would think that's crazy, but he would also think Donald Trump is crazy.
Oh, for sure.
Okay? We know Donald Trump, he's been in the news because of his unorthodox statements and behavior in the courtrooms. My man is going ham. Now, lately, his courtroom appearances have reached a whole new level of craziness, is what I like to call it. So, from crazy exchanges with judges to rambling political statements, political statements, Trump seems to have no control over himself. He can't stop talking, no matter what courtroom he's in, what the case is, who he's talking about, what have you. So, Ace, what are your thoughts on the latest Trump court escapades?
Man, it's funny, but me and my family was talking about this right when we left, and there's I can't say a politician, but a pundit out there that was speaking, and I can't remember the name right now, but he said, and I mean, and you know, he said if you think about it, and he said if you break it down to it, Trump's like a 5-year-old, and he was being serious about it. He said, think about it. He's like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
He pouts.
And ain't nothing you could do about it. You know what I'm saying? And when Trump first started off and things, I mean, I'm talking about 2015, 2016, when he first kind of hit it and started making it to the national level and we started going to be president. I was like, what can this guy do that his supporters are going to be like, all right, this is it. I'm through with this guy. And it's almost like he'll do something, he gets more support. He'll do something else, he gets more support. And he just ain't stopped. And to the point now to where this dude's just in court and just say any damn thing to the judge, and we like, whoa, like you can do that because I didn't know you could do that. I didn't
we can't do that.
I didn't know you go in there and talk shit to the judge, like really. No, thought that was called contempt of court. You know what I'm saying? I look at Law and Order. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm gonna hold you in contempt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because when they do that on the show, everybody shuts the hell up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't know what contempt of court actually ends up being, but I just don't want to be in contempt of it. You know what I'm saying? Not this dude. This dude just be going off. And like,
how many times has he been threatened with contempt of court?
But even what we're talking about, and I think this is what irks me the most. Dude's got 91 cases overall. Okay. And people want to say witch hunt or whatever. 91, bro? I can see it was like 1 or 2, 5 maybe. 91 charges right now that he's got going on. The crazy part about all those charges, he ain't denying them. And we seen him do it. You know what I'm saying? Like we seen him. Like we saw you. We heard you say, go down there and march on the thing, and you know, we're gonna fight like hell. You said that, and I'm gonna go down there with you.
We
said
heard him
all
say,
of that.
grab him by the coochie too.
We heard him do all
and
that.
Women still standing behind him.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, and the whole thing, I was like, I thought inciting a riot was a crime. Like, you know, ain't that the definition of inciting a riot? I'm on a mic and I say, let's go down there and tear some shit up. That's inciting a riot.
Right. Yeah.
Dude ain't spent 1 day in jail. The crazy part about it,
a riot at the Capitol.
That's what I'm saying. The crazy part about it, people in prison right now for doing the things he said do. You know what I'm saying? And he's still walking around. So it's just so crazy on what's happening.
I want to try to get back focused to the court stuff.
Okay.
Because dude is, I mean, we understand all of that stuff. That's all relevant. I mean, just for the case that he's just doing whatever the hell he wants, to your point. Like your 5-year-old, he do whatever. But to your point earlier, they ain't doing nothing about it. So he was in court for one of the cases where he was already found guilty of like defamation. And then he just talking, the judge gave him like some time to speak, right? Closing, you know, whatever, speak, say your piece.
Yeah.
Dude went ham. He was talking about the lady again. You just got...
He was just found guilty of defamation
against when you start talking about her. The judge is about to hand you your sentence. You talk shit about the judge. I'm like, this dude is out of control, and nothing happened. They didn't like give him a worse. I don't know. The judge probably already had what he was going to hand down for his punishment, how much money he had to pay or whatever. So they didn't do anything with that or say anything about. He just got stop, Mr. Trump. He just told him to stop speaking, and then he finished whatever he was going to do. Same thing happened with this last case. The judge said, and I'm getting this from Politico.com, Mr. Trump has the right to be present here. The right could be forfeited, and it can be forfeited if he's disruptive, which is what has been reported to me, the judge said. He spoke directly to Trump and said, Mr. Trump, I hope you don't have to consider excluding, I hope I don't have to consider excluding you from this trial. And he said, I understand you're probably eager for me to do that. And Trump said, I would love it. I would love it. And the judge said, I know you would. I know you would. You just can't control yourself in this circumstance, apparently. Trump said, you can't either. Okay. Okay.
What if you had said that, or you had said that,
the
or
conversation
Barack Obama said that?
I wouldn't have been. We wouldn't even.
We would be underneath the jail.
We wouldn't even been granted the.
It wouldn't even have been contempt. It would have been a new charge.
Yes. First of all, we probably wouldn't have been able to say anything. Yeah. But the judge started talking to him. He asked him a question, so I give him that. Because the judge said something to you, you're supposed to respond. Now he doesn't respond like that. His response should have been, "Yes, Your Honor, I will make sure that I control my." No. I would love it.
Control me either.
I would love it.
Yeah.
He said, I know you would. He said, you can't control yourself. You can't either?
I can't take him seriously.
Bro, I mean,
something's wrong
these are things that at some point, before we got to that end, so at some point, you're in contempt of court. Bailiff take him away. Put him in. But there's several reasons, and I don't know why, but I'm asking y'all this. Why? Well, when you say you know why, I don't know why. We know. I want to know from y'all's perspective, why do they not do something to someone who is just take that one situation? Why didn't the judge do something?
I
Because
mean,
he's Donald Trump.
yeah, I think everything Donald Trump does is because everybody walks around on eggshells with him because of his popularity in his vote. They know half the country supports this guy no matter what he does. Now, I think that they walk around with him with kid gloves because he knows if he holds him in contempt of court, if he comes down hard on him, then one of his supporters or some of the people are going to start harassing him, calling, which they probably doing already.
So fear.
Yeah. So fear.
Look at Peter.
Judges still get elected. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
especially if you're a conservative judge. So they don't want to seem how they're coming down on Trump. So half the people they do, the base, won't vote for him because, hey, you didn't stand up with Trump. And Trump's been able to, well, scratch that. Because we have such a miseducated people who don't understand like law and how things work, he's able to say things like, for instance, with the Mike Pence thing, and he should have been able to just throw out the election. That don't work like that, you know what I'm saying? But people don't have no education, so they don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like with judges, they don't understand, like, this judge was appointed by this president, or they have to run for office or whatever. So a lot of times they walk with eggshells because these guys are influenced politically. That's why he gets away with a lot of the craziness because of that.
So what about federal judges that get appointed and there's no election for them? I mean, I think the fear thing still stands with anybody, any judge, right? Because these defamation suits, you talk about what are the black ladies who were Georgia, the election officials. You hear about the fact that these people, Trump supporters, are doing bomb threats. They sending things to your email, to your social media site, saying they're going to destroy you, kill you, ruin your life. Judges are still people. Right. And they have families.
Right.
So I can see that point. Like the fear thing really stands out to me.
Peter said, isn't Trump trying to hide behind the now non-existent political impunity?
I think he means immunity.
Immunity.
Which may be what he's talking about, what you talked about the other day.
All presidents should be immune is what he said.
Everything.
To everything, like Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's just nuts. I mean, it just sickens me that we have some people that are just turning a blind eye to bad behavior.
Yeah.
Like, where's any of this accepted at, man? Like, where
even in court now? It was okay if it was on TV or social media, but now in the courtroom?
Yeah, where have we come as a country to the point where somebody's blatantly this messed up and you just like okay with it? I mean, you just to the point where I'm just gonna vote for him because he's gonna do this. It's funny. Somebody said, and I was looking at Bill Maher. I was on Bill Maher, and he says, you know what? This dude don't even run on a platform. He has no platform. He said, think about it. He did none of the debates. He doesn't run on a platform because he knows he's got people just gonna vote for him just for the sake of voting for him. And he said, if you look at anything, if you look at any country that dealt with a dictator, that was what it is. It was basically a trust me vote. Hey, you don't need to know what I'm doing. Trust me, I'm gonna take care of you. Pretty much, just vote for me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna tell you nothing I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna run on a platform. I'm not gonna say that. But just trust me, I'm gonna handle it. And that's basically what he's running on. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the voters, which in this country has got the power, and if people don't understand how important the vote is, that's what's influencing a lot of these people to treat him with kid gloves and let him get away with murder. Because
do you think judges, generally speaking, have to put them on notice if they're doing something wrong in the courtroom?
Which
because
he did in this case.
So do you think the judge is being overly generous with him? Donald Trump is supposed to be an educated man. He's supposed to be this. He's supposed to be that. He's supposed to know, political law and all of this stuff. But he's giving him extra chances. What do you think?
I think that one of the things that's happening is, and Walanda looked this up, was that the judge is trying to avoid giving him cause to bring something up on appeal.
Okay.
So whatever the case outcome is, if he kicks him out of the courtroom,
even though he don't have to be there.
Right.
It's been
And
said
he don't want to be
several
there.
times that no, he wants to be there. He wants to be there because he doesn't have to, but he wants to
He's
be there to do what he's
Right.
exactly to
He's
campaign.
campaigning and-
He goes out after every session or every day of court, and he has the flags behind him, like he's still the president, and provides a speech about what happened and how he's pissed off and la 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 la. So the judge, from what was stated in some of the articles that Wanda looked up, is like, I don't want to give him grounds for appeal.
Okay.
So if I kick him out, they could say something that he has grounds for appeal. If I hold him in contempt, they might have an argument that I was, held him in contempt for a reason that I shouldn't have, or blah, 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 blah. So
he's patient.
That is very patient. And judges are smart. Just like you said, Trump is smart. I think judges are a little bit more smart. I think they're smarter than Trump in the most part for getting law degrees and things like that they have, and going through. A judge usually has to serve as a lawyer for some period of time before they become a judge. So they have experience, they have all that, they know. But I think that has something to do with it. I think that
makes sense.
It's fear, like you said, Ace. And I think it's also they're trying to make sure that their case doesn't get overturned on appeal.
Yeah. Trump's going out and he's making a mockery of the justice system. And basically he's showing if you got enough money and enough popularity, you can sit around and play the game with the justice system. If you don't have any money, you don't get that chance. Hell, you don't even make it to the courtroom. A lot of times they plea bargain you out before you even get there. But if you got enough money, and in this case, you can do the semantics. You can make it into he didn't have to go to a debate because he was on TV every day and he campaigned right there. He didn't have to go to Iowa and do all of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just ridiculous that he's allowed to do that. And he's allowed to do that because he's got blind support from people that aren't looking out. And a lot of them do believe they're looking out for the best thing of the country, but on what?
Yeah.
On what policy are you doing that on? You know what I'm saying? Explain that to me.
Please.
A lot of people talk about the economy. Well, employment's at 3%. And they've been at 3% since Eisenhower was in office. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy good.
Mostly people who want to get a job can go out there and get a job. You know what I'm saying? The stock market's better. Gas prices are lower. Food's up and down, but that's got a lot to do with China and the supply chain. So, I mean, it's just, if you can have this conversation, we start bringing up points like that, the valid points, you start talking about that. His supporters are still, but, I even heard one of them say, hey, yeah, but he's at Washington outside. He's going to change everything up. What are you talking about? The dude was president for 4 years. He's not an outsider no more.
Nope.
Right.
He had a chance to blow it up then and didn't do it.
No.
Makes he's going to go blow it up now.
No, he ain't.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So,
well, there's one thing I would like for people to blow up. The like button. I was going there.
Yeah, you got
blow up that like button, smash it, and also subscribe.
I probably think we set this up in practice. We don't.
And share it to all your platforms.
He listens to what I say and he plays off my words every damn time.
Every time.
Oh man. So I got a question though, man. Is this behavior going to change the legal system? Are there implications for the legal system?
Yeah, he's setting precedent.
Yeah,
he's setting precedents. It could possibly change. Yes, absolutely.
I don't think it's going to change, but I think what's going to happen is it's going to be allowed to be manipulated. Not really a change.
What's going to be allowed to be manipulated?
Let's not even say change. Let's be real. I mean, let's go to our favorite person, OJ. OJ kind of did the same thing, kind of manipulated the system and got a verdict that he wanted out of it. You know what I'm saying?
But he was the American white black.
I'm just saying, but what I'm saying is, if you made kind of enough money, if you got enough popularity, and your stuff's gonna be on TV every day.
And where was he popular at?
You get to you get to play like that. If OJ was just a regular black guy, let's say he was still in NFL and he was a celebrity as OJ. If he was just a guy in the NFL and even was going through what he went through, it'd probably been a whole different scenario with that case. But since he was so popular and a celebrity.
And where was he popular though? Who had his back? White people. he was popular in the white community.
He wasn't popular when he got found not guilty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's who was mad at him because he killed a white woman.
Well, I'm just talking about like
accused.
I'm just talking about the overall
Thank
case
you.
with its popularity.
Right.
You get a little bit more perks than somebody who ain't as popular, and they're gonna be having this case in the back room somewhere.
But
you know what I'm saying?
His lawyers still had to execute a plan.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Awesome
They would have went
job.
in there with their ass in their hands and pleading to the judge that he would have lost. They went in there with a plan. They had a good plan. The judge
Johnny
don't
was
fit.
awesome.
The glove don't fit. Yada yada
You must
yada.
acquit.
Well, they had.
all
I'm
of
just
this shit,
saying, but he
nobody
had
saw him.
top-notch lawyers.
He right. If you got the money, then that
Yeah.
I agree,
Yeah.
110%. But it don't matter how much money Trump got if he just in there spouting off like a damn volcano that's erupting. I mean, he's not sitting like OJ sat back and he let his lawyers do the work. I got the money. These cats should know what the hell they doing. I think Trump, for one, like you said, he's campaigning. Every time he opens his mouth, it's something to say it's a witch hunt. These people are idiots, blah, blah, blah. He's calling names. He's going outside the courtroom and you know how his supporters are. They're going to act crazy. That fear thing comes in. But I don't know if it's going to create like implications on the legal system to where it's like, okay, so now, I don't know, if you're a president, you can't be held in contempt of court. Or if you're a CEO, or you can say whatever you want and act how you want. Like, because to me, if I'm in court and I say something, you're a stupid judge. And they be like, well, you can't say that, you're in contempt of court. Hold on, I have precedent set here. President Trump said, I don't care about you. You can't control yourself in this court. And he didn't get contempt.
That's how the law
So
works.
now you holding me for contempt? Guess what? I'm appealing this. I'm doing that. To your point, I think there could be legal implications because don't get it twisted. Lawyers are always looking for something to use to make their case better. And if it's in court and if it's on them books and that whatever's the stenographer got that shit on there, they can use it. And I think it could have some implications later on because lawyers are smart. If they're gonna like use that in any way, shape, or form they can, and I think that's why the judge is like, man, I can't hold him in contempt because somebody gonna use that shit. Either he's gonna use it on appeal, or somebody else in some other case down the road, might use that against me. I don't know. I'm just like, I think there could be, and I'm thinking from just a
layman.
A layman. I'm not even a lawyer. If I was a lawyer, what else could I come up with that this could have legal implications about?
Yeah. So I mean, you know, Trump's out there wilding, man, and he's wilding, and people are supporting him, and you know, and blindly supporting him, and I just don't. I don't understand. It's hard for me to understand like why that's popular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's entertaining. I'll give it the entertainment.
Very entertaining.
It's entertaining, but I mean, you know, Cat Williams was entertaining. I'm not voting for Cat. I'm not voting for Cat Williams.
Maybe he should run for president.
You know what I'm saying?
But
I'm just saying, it's like it's entertaining, and you know, the one thing Trump knows how to do is entertain people and do that. We know that he's been doing it for years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Peter said the only thing he can see this doing is affecting the perception of America by other countries around the world. The fact that they seemingly cannot control him.
Yeah. And check it out, man. And meanwhile,
in other
you know,
news,
we are currently at war with Iran. I don't care how you want to look at it right now. We are bombing Yemen right now. They're attacking us. We're attacking them. That's called war. You know what I'm saying? Israel right now is at war with Palestine, which is one of our allies. Ukraine's at war, and guess what? China's about to walk into Taiwan here, and North Korea is already talking about going to South Korea, which we got people sitting on the border right there. Been sitting over there since the 50s.
Okay,
it's serious business out there in this world, and I don't think people don't understand that. Serious business, the serious people gonna have to take care of. There's gonna have implications. You will see what happened when Russia walked into Ukraine. Gas prices went completely up because you know what? There's something in the world called trade. Now that's world trade that affects everybody. You was complaining about your gas prices then. Just wait until we go to war with Iran. which is closer than you think, but you probably ignore that part of the news because you're looking at this clown talking back to the judges. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And this is the guy
exactly what's happening.
you want running your country. Like I'm saying, you know, okay, you can fall wherever you want to fall and have your opinions about whatever you want to make understand.
Biden.
You know what I'm saying? Blame Biden or whatever. And I'm not making this I'm not saying you got to go for Biden, but I just want to understand and let you know that this is what we're playing with in the world. The rest of the world is moving around right now because hey, they know we got some bullshit going on over here. Yeah. And that's basically what it is. And you can say, you can call it, you can blame who you want to blame with it and say it's Biden's fault, it's whatever's fault. But Biden ain't he ain't on TV, you know, making a mockery about justice system. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy, man. So you know, we can get into that. I don't want to dig into that hole.
Well, I mean, the whole world is trying to get around and do crazy shit right now, and a lot of the world is trying to get into our country.
Yeah,
that leads me to the immigration discussion that we want to have today. So immigration, we know that it ignites fiery discussions, sparks heated debates and arguments, and leaves everybody with a strong opinion. We all got an opinion about immigration, but why? Why is immigration such a hot topic? Like one side feels that immigration is the lifeblood of our nation. You know, we've had it forever since day one. That's how we got here. Well, not us as Black people, but that's how Americans got here, or European white people got here by immigration. Creates diverse cultures, different perspectives. Immigration is a good thing. But then there's people who feel like immigration strains our resources, dilutes our identity somehow. I don't know how. It threatens job security, right? So, Ace, Tina, either one of y'all, what's your stance on immigration?
I just don't understand how a country of immigrants are so negative against immigration. Now,
me too.
Our immigration policy needs an overhaul, needs to be worked out, the whole situation with that. I get that. But when you're campaigning and people are talking about the border problem and immigration, I just think it's just something else that they're spinning politically, because that's been a problem forever. That immigration problem. You can go back to Reagan all the way up to where we're at right now, and every president's got an immigration problem or has an immigration problem. But if you look at who's running, Trump came from immigrants. Nikki Haley came from immigrants. Biden came from immigrants. You know what I'm saying? All of them came from some form of immigration. But you're talking negative about immigration like you wouldn't even be here. Some of y'all y'all brand new immigrants. Y'all just got here. You know, some of y'all go back to the 30s or whatever, but some of y'all people came over here after that. You know what I'm saying? And then 40 years later, here you go, you know, you're successful, you're running for president or whatever. So that's my whole take, is like, people are so negative on immigration, and then they talking about, and this is the bullshit that I like to hear, all the fentanyl and the border and all of that. Well, statistically, immigrants ain't smuggling that over here.
The white people are.
The
people who own the jets,
Americans and stuff like that, run most of that over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, I don't think the Border Patrol is just not checking people when they come over, and they're just bringing in fentanyl by the boatloads. And the cartels in them, believe you me, they're not walking that across the border, man. They already got tunnels and planes and ways to smuggle this in.
And dirty politicians.
Yeah, so they, you know, so my take on that is, I'm tired of politicians trying to utilize that to push a platform or try to show something negative on the president, because technically you can do that to every president. We did it on Trump. Trump did it with Obama. Obama did it with Bush. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know we can attack immigration just like you can attack Social Security. It's always going to be there politically to be something you can hang on the current president, you know, so.
So a few things that I wanted to touch on, I guess, kind of question. The first one is like immigration. Like, there's a lot of jobs out there.
Yeah.
A lot of people over here don't want to do.
Yeah. I know a couple of them.
Immigrants come over here and they do the work that a lot of us don't want to do. It's necessary work.
Right.
It's not just work that you've taken away from somebody else. It's crazy how people use that as a talking point. You're taking away good American jobs from native born citizens.
that job's been open for 100 years because none of the Americans feel like it's they're above working that kind of job.
My wife cannot keep a custodian position filled at her school. People talk about there's no jobs out there. She can't keep that job filled because nobody wants to do it. Now, the people who are working there right now, the majority of them are immigrants, right? And even they, from time to time, like one of them just quit and went to another school because I guess they think it's going to be easier at another school, doing the same job.
And the same money.
Right, same money. But at the end of the day, that's a job that any one of us or whoever could work. But do we want to work that job, right? The immigrants are coming here doing the jobs that are necessary that we don't want to do. Somebody got to clean that school.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one thing I say. And another one is like, I think immigration is just a talking point. So I wonder about that because to your point, immigration has been a problem for every president since whatever, right? Is it really a problem? Because I'm saying right now, if you look at pictures of the border right now, there's people out there waiting in line to get over here. Do we let them in? Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
They come in.
But they got to go back.
Sometimes they send them back or whatever, but we're letting everybody in that line. We see lines of hundreds of people. A lot of them we're letting them in. It could be months for some of them. They could sit in the center or whatever, or whatever have you. But for the most part, they still coming in here. We're not doing anything to like turn them away and say go back to your country or anything like that. I mean, sometimes we do, depending on if they have like the right connections or whatever to get in. But for the most part, most of them people are getting in here. So is it really like a problem like that we trying to solve?
No.
I think it's just something to talk about in an election.
It is. And then they'll put a big old Band-Aid over it to appease the people that their constituents, like this dumb wall, which was the dumbest idea and the biggest waste of money ever in the history of immigration.
Steve Bannon didn't waste that money.
I mean, to your point, I'm like, if they just don't even put up a wall, do whatever you need to do. But they could solve it. If these people, why are all these people waiting in line to get in? They're not waiting in line to get sent back.
Yeah.
They're waiting in line to get in.
Yeah.
Why don't we just say we ain't letting nobody in?
Because politicians have used it as a talking point and skewed the statistics saying that they're the ones on welfare, they're the ones doing this, and they are not. It's the people who live and were born here that are on welfare, taking advantage of it, who are out here committing these crimes. These immigrants coming here to work because the amount of pay they get here, they can take half of it and live here and send the other half to help their family in their country. That's the American dream for them. I can help support my family in the country that I was born in because I can come here and work a job that the people who live here don't want.
Hey, you from New York, right? Ain't there a big ass statue in New York with is holding up a torch that's asking everybody to come here? I mean, didn't France get that to us a while back? You from New York? You seen that statue before, right? Me too. Now here's the deal. Why is it problems at the southern border? Because we got immigrants that come through the northern border all the time.
Canada.
You know what I'm saying?
We got people that fly airplanes laying right in the middle of this country and they immigrants.
Like you live in Detroit, like you go to Canada like it ain't no thing, and they come over here like it ain't no thing. You know what I'm saying? So why is the issue with the southern border? And we're asking them to come. It ain't like that's what this country is. It always has been. That's why I always say immigration. You get these politicians get up there and start talking about immigration and into the problem just to push their base, basically, get them all riled up and stirred up. But and like you said, Joe Base, they don't want to work them jobs. They ain't trying to go out there and pick no fruit in Florida in the summer. They ain't trying to do that. They ain't about that life.
And most of them, to your point, they're not on welfare. Most of them. I mean, there's some that are, but to the people who are supporting them, the lobby, them people ain't on welfare.
But I mean, if you're an immigrant, can you even qualify for welfare?
That's my understanding.
You're not a citizen. I mean, I didn't think
but that's their talking point. And people are not even smart enough to know that that's a lie. They're lying to you to make you vote the way they want you to vote. Like Peter says, immigration's a hot topic in the world. In the UK, they literally just had a big political issue arising from the Rwanda immigration deal. And it was the Brits that sent convicts over to Australia for 100 years.
That's how Australia got
And
founded.
the same thing with America. You know what I'm saying? When they started off going, Britain started all of this. Like people always talk about it, man. And that's why it was killing me with the Queen. I was like, Queen, what are you talking about? Did we have to fight a whole war with the Queen? Why are we celebrating the British Queen? You know what I'm saying? I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this immigration thing, it's just, you know, when you look at, you know, and a lot of y'all probably don't do this, and that's probably a problem. When you look at any of the town halls or the debates or whatever, and they start off on that, and I'd be like, really, immigration? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, you know, come with something else. I'm saying, come with something else, because Obama built the things for immigration. Trump used them, and come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's move on to something else other than that, man.
Yeah. So let's also move on to smashing that like button, because if y'all ain't done that yet, you need to go ahead, look down under this video, hit it, subscribe, you know, and share it. That's Tina always likes to remind
I like how he
me.
looks at me first, because he knows he's gonna do it.
Yeah,
Let me know
do
he's
it
gonna
to
do
you
that
again. But I mean, to your point, man, I want you to start talking about, like, and I'm talking about these town halls and these debates, stuff that impacts me directly.
Yeah.
Right? If immigrants came here and took my job, yeah, let's talk about that. Okay. But immigrants are coming here, they working in farms, they working in custodial jobs, they working at restaurants,
sanitation,
they working in
fast
sanitation,
food,
they working at things that, for the most part, like, and any job that they can get that they don't need to have a social. Okay, to your point, they can't, like, they got to find somebody, and they out there. There's a lot of employers like
that'll pay you under the table.
Exactly. Whether they business owners and they entrepreneurs, or whether they big companies, whatever, that will hire your ass without, you know, a visa or a social. And if you don't got that, they still gonna hire you
because they need the work done.
You know what I'm saying? Because nobody else will do the job.
Exactly.
But they act like, I want you to talk about something that's impacting me. I'm not trying to I got a social. I ain't got to worry about trying to find a job.
Yeah.
I was born here. I ain't got to worry about it. This immigration situation, once they start like straining like my resources, because that's another thing. Talk about resource constraints because of immigrants. Look, it got cold here and everybody tried to buy all the toilet paper. Okay. That was the last I saw toilet paper in there. But I ain't worried about immigrants coming in and buying all my damn eggs and my toilet paper.
Yeah.
They not straining no resources for me. Now, could they be straining some resources for homeless and things like that? Yes, probably so. Because like when they're busing immigrants to New York, they got to put them somewhere.
Yeah.
They don't want to leave them on the streets. They had to put them into an elementary school. You know what I'm saying? So yes, to that extent, it could be constraining some of the resources, but not for things that are directly impacting me. So don't go to the debate and talk to me about immigration. People who, this is just my take. Y'all may not agree with me, but I think, and tell me what y'all think, people who are worried about immigration are more people who are prejudiced or racist against other groups of people.
Yeah. I agree with that. And isn't it straining our resources technically to keep these people that they don't want in the country here? We're feeding them. They're in wherever the elementary school has electricity, it has heat. Who's paying for that? The taxpayers are paying for that. If immigration is such a big thing, when you catch them, send them back. Stop housing them. Stop giving them. Because of our what is that treaty called, that we have to take care of them if we capture whatever. Yeah. So we have to take care of them. Yeah. We can't put them. We got homeless American veterans that are on the streets, freezing and hungry, but we have to house the immigrants that we caught instead of just busing them back.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. That's something that affects me.
Yeah. Just to touch on your point, because you said earlier about the immigrants taking the lower end jobs. The negative part about it that they don't speak about a lot is you do have qualified, educated immigrants that come over and they can qualify for your job. And that's usually a talent pool that America's always dug out of. A lot of things that were invented in the world that made America great came from immigrants that came over, like who had college educations, came over and challenged for a higher end job. Well, guess what? These people are now going to other countries.
Yes.
They don't want to deal with what we're dealing over here. Like Canada's got a big influx of people that are going to Canada.
Is trying to get those people, those immigrants in their country.
Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? You know, well, lower end immigrants, like you say, they do a lot of the manual labor and things that a lot of people don't do here, which actually America back in the 40s kind of they pushed for them to come over. When you talk about the migrant worker coming to work in California and do a lot of that stuff in World War II,
and stuff,
when everybody went to war, they asked Mexico to send us workers, and that's who they sent us. So that's how this thing pretty much kind of got started. You know what I'm saying?
So when they show like pictures on Fox or CNN of the border, those are the people who most people are complaining about, right? To your point, you make a very good point. Like those individuals who come over here, like maybe they came from Canada, maybe they came from China, maybe they came from Japan, whatever, that are educated and could take our jobs and things like that. They ain't standing in line at the border.
Nah.
You know, you don't even see them people.
They got a passport, bro.
Yeah. Right, they got a passport. They get a visa. They coming over here legally in some kind of way. Whereas the people who they always show are the people who, to my point, are trying to get those low-end jobs.
Yeah.
The people at the border, they ain't trying to be a doctor. Now, maybe they were a doctor in their country. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
Some of them had great jobs where they were from. But to your point, they still can't get the type of pay that they could get over here doing a lesser job, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's complicated, but to touch on what you said, like, yeah, it's hidden racism. Like
it is.
If you kind of and people can say, hey, well, you know, now we're having a problem in this. No, you're not. I don't wake up in the morning and be like, oh man, these immigrants, man, they weren't here.
Right. Yeah, no, we have saying
that. Man,
but our stupid
so many immigrants over here, man. God damn.
Immigration policy.
I might be able to get some eggs. You know what I'm saying? Like
makes people have to do like the immigrants that are trying to come here to work. Our policy is making them like have to go to extreme things like coming over here in their 9th month of pregnancy to have an anchor baby. You know what I mean? Their baby's born on the land. So their baby's a citizen now. And we shouldn't be going, it's not that complicated. It shouldn't be. But our policies have made it that way because the politicians feed on the ignorance of the constituents and understanding what all of this is.
It is a process. I mean, they make it sound like people just walking in. They ain't nobody at the border and they just walking on in.
Yeah.
No. You can't do that as an American. You go across, you go out of the country trying to get back in. It takes you a minute. You know what I'm saying? So imagine you ain't a citizen, what that does. So, you know, oh man, you know, because they like the open borders. What?
Yeah.
Open borders.
No open border.
Show me where that is. You know what I'm saying?
It's not.
It's definitely Texas.
It's that place where they trying to, you know, there's no guard and there's no station to walk through. That's what they're talking about. Maybe when they talk about open borders, like there's no wall. There's sections in Mexico where, like, your boy Abbott Willie man put up some. What he put barbed wire in the water, and the ladies. Doesn't that lady drown recently?
Yeah,
they wouldn't help her.
But aren't they saying that that's cruel and unusual, and he shouldn't have did
that?
But
he's doing it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know? But when I say open, I mean, and I get that. But you know, somebody if they brave
in what they're saying though. To your point, they're saying they're open borders, and it's not.
They brave in the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a whole.
These fools going through some crazy. They trekking. Get over here. But I did want to also bring up a point, man. Like, I think one issue is like. It could be hidden racism, just like you said. Like they worried about the people at the border. They worry about immigration. They don't want the people coming over. But I think another part of it is fear. And I think it's fear of being displaced. If we allow a bunch of Hispanic people to come over here and they become the majority.
Yeah, I was going to go there too.
These fools, no, we're not the majority no more.
It's the census.
They're afraid of what will happen. And once again, I always make this point is, they think that if someone else becomes the majority, they will start to treat them like they treat other minorities because now you're the minority. So now that we're the majority,
we're going to have the rules in place that benefit us.
Mhm.
And you white people, you're going to do, because they think everybody's going to do what they do. They have that mindset that we have to stay on top, and they think everybody else thinks the same way.
Mhm.
All these Hispanics could come over here and be like, you know what? We want to have a better society for everybody. We
Mhm.
want, equality. We want, it might help the black people for all we know, because once they're the majority, maybe they won't do like you said and try to assimilate
Right.
and
Mhm.
become like white. They're like, well, we don't got to become white. We're the head honchos over here now.
Right.
We got the most people.
Yeah. Kazak said that middle class and upper middles aren't the ones impacted by immigrants. And then Peter said that the UK sends millions of aid to large African countries, some of which have the largest space programs in the world. So this immigrant thing, this immigrant so-called problem, is it really a problem? Why can't just people, it's the world. Why can't we just move around freely?
Yeah, and look, I mean, they can send all the immigrants over here from the Central America and Mexico and wherever. They don't own nothing.
Right.
They starting from zero.
Here's the deal. Regardless, regardless if you're minority or the majority, like they don't own land.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like I said, that's the power source when it comes to like a country. Like if you're a landowner, you know what I'm saying? Like you got power. You know what I'm saying? Like who cares who's working on it or whatever? Even your vote. You don't have a resource. You don't have that, and that's just a crazy thought. Well, man, if they come over, man, and they outnumber us and they'll get the power. And only people thinking like that, like you said, lower to maybe middle class people that know that they don't own land either. You know what I'm saying? So now they're gonna be outnumbered. But that's why.
True.
But
that's why they appeal to them, though, and that's what kills me. Just go back on Trump real quick. Trump ain't from no rural area. He's more city than anybody, but he appeals to rural people because he's talking a language and talking about the things that concern them, which that's one oldest trick of the book when it comes to rich people dealing with poor people, rich white people dealing with poor white people. They gonna take this from you. They gonna do this from you. They gonna do that from you. No, they not. You know what I'm saying? That's just what they tell you. So because with those numbers, that fear mongering they're doing, you act the way that you act.
And I think you're right. It's fear mongering, and they're pushing that message down to the people who don't have land and don't have money. At the same time, the people at the top are pushing that message down because they do fear that they fear the power of votes.
Yeah,
that's what they fear. They don't care about but they will manipulate that from the top down with their money, with their messaging, with the narrative. So you're right. It's all intermingled, right? They're not gonna they're going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that your vote don't count, or that you can't vote, or that, hey, well, let's do like we did to the black people and arrest them. That way they're felons and they can't vote. Whatever the case may be, right? But I think the people at the bottom care more, because people at the top are pushing that message down. But at some point, if they become the majority, the people coming over from other countries, then they will have to come out of the darkness and show themselves. They'll be exposed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and look at the folks from India who immigrate or migrate over here. Their whole family comes over here. They buy a house. The whole family works in these jobs that we won't work in, but the whole family buys the house, pays for the house. Then they go do the next thing, or they go buy into a franchise like Subway or the hotels. The Patels, that family is from India. They have hotels in Florida, Texas, all over the United States. And they started by bringing their family over and building together. They built something, moved to the next house, pay for this house. And they really drove into what America could do for them by them using their resources within their families and making themselves now landowners, franchise owners, home owners.
Is that a reality show?
No, it's not. No, I know the people, and I researched it and was talking to them and trying to learn about how are you ain't
telling us about some reality show people.
No, I don't even watch reality.
You come on.
You know, I'm a law and order. So
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I mean, I think this is going to be a topic for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, immigration, once again, I don't think they want to solve it. I think they want it to remain constant so that they can have something to argue about, whether you fall on the right or for the left. They want to be able to campaign about something that they want to be able to push that narrative down to us and make us feel like it's important. Even though we are a country of immigrants, where immigration started here, we not immigrants. Black people came, we were pulled over here. We did not immigrate over here.
Right.
We're not immigrants.
And we are, and you know, so that is that part of the conversation. But I just want us to just be aware that this talking point, man, we have to try to move away from it at some point, because it might be a state issue on some level. Like for the states that have to deal with it, I can understand that. But don't shift your people over to another state because your ass don't want to deal with your problems.
Yeah.
Okay. So
facts.
But at the end of the day, you know, we love having these conversations with you guys. We thank you so much for joining us. It's been another great episode of Left-Wing Kingz. I want to thank all of our people out there on YouTube, Facebook. Thank you for streaming and live streaming with us and hanging out with us, asking the questions. Kazag, Peter, Steven, appreciate all of you guys for hanging with us. Tina, thank you so much for sitting in this week and giving us your knowledge and your expertise.
My pleasure.
Ace, my man, always giving us hitting us with the knowledge and the love. Anything y'all want to say before we check out of here?
I'm good.
All right. Well, then that's that, people. We will see you next week on Left-Wing Kingz.
He has the